In this video, I'm going to be cooking my first ever brisket on a ceramic cooker, in this case, a Kamado Joe. So I recently acquired a Kamado Joe for another project, which I won't get into. So I'm going to be cooking up a brisket and see how it comes out compared to my preferred method of cooking brisket, which is the offset. So naturally, you're going to start off with a high quality brisket. This is the Exxon Gold from John Davidson's, but I grabbed this one from Pro Smoke. They're just up the road and they sell these briskets. But I'm going to trim this up pretty much like any other brisket that I would trim. But one thing I probably will pay a little bit more attention to for this Kamado cook is the shape of the top. And the reason for that is, in my kind of limited experiences with Kamados, they generally tend to hold in a lot more moisture than a lot of other cookers. And in a lot of cases, that's a good thing, probably, but it can be problematic for bark formation. And that's basically because there's so much moisture in this brisket. There's moisture in the wood and even some in the charcoal that, look at that flat muscle, by the way, really nice for a grass-fed brisket. Anyway, if you're retaining a lot of that moisture, what tends to happen is it gets kind of sweaty in there. And if there is a location or place for that liquid to pool on top of the brisket, it generally will, and you end up with a splotchy looking bark, and that's not what I want. So I'm gonna work really hard to make sure that I don't have these weird kind of like divots in the fat cap. Not that I would, but I'll just go out of my way to make sure that it's really nice and smooth all over, and where it can be rounded off towards the edge. That way, if any moisture does pool, it should start to run off and I won't need to go in and tip the brisket myself or put a piece of wood under it or some tin foil. My plan is for my trim alone to deal with most of that. Anyway, that's looking pretty good. It's looking like a nicely trimmed, rounded up brisket with a fairly even fat cap. Flip it over, take out this decal fat, take some of this chunkier fat off the back. Probably not going to spend too long here, to be honest. Yeah, get it seasoned up. Seasoning wise, I'm going to keep it simple as ever. Diamond Crystal Kosher salt and 16 mesh black pepper. And the 16 mesh black pepper that I'm using today is the Franklin one, just pure 16 mesh. You can buy this on my web shop. And I like to do the dump method. And I like this method because it's consistent. Every single brisket, every single time is pretty much the same in terms of seasoning. And I find that using a shot glass does you about enough seasoning to get one brisket fully covered. So that's 2 black pepper and 1 Diamond Crystal. Break up any lumps of salt that might be in there. Then take my brisket, go presentation side down, or fat cap side down. Cover this all up. Then I'm gonna take a wire rack using the same tray as I seasoned this in. I'm gonna pop that on there. That's just gonna mean that there's airflow all the way around it and it's not gonna be sitting in any juices that might get pulled out overnight. And basically I like to do that for 2 reasons. One, it means I don't have to do it tomorrow morning. I can get all of this out of the way, then just come downstairs, light the fire and be good to go. And 2, because I find that you get a bit of a dry brine action going on, not necessarily to flavor it or to make it more juicy, but that salt's gonna draw some moisture out of the surface. It's gonna get reabsorbed, leaving it a lot drier than it was when I first took it out of the packet and trimmed it. And in my experience, that's how I get the best bark that I can get. Anyway, this is gonna go into the fridge overnight until tomorrow morning. Then we're gonna get the Kamado set up, ready for cooking first thing. So this is my temporary Kamado Joe. It's actually the connected one where you can set the temperature kind of like a pellet grill or a Masterbuilt gravity smoker, and it will control the fan speed, airflow, all that stuff, and monitor your temperatures for you. But I want to do something with this. I don't just want to rely purely on the fans, but what I am going to do is switch out this analog thermometer and replace it with my Chef's Temp S1. Anytime I'm cooking on a barbecue that's kind of semi set and forget, one where you kind of manage it yourself, but you still need to rely on the right amount of airflow, the right amount of charcoal, all that kind of stuff. I like to use the S1. And obviously I could pair the S1 with the fan system, but as I say, I want to go a little bit more manual today. So take those baffles out and go in with some nice chunky Big K charcoal. Apparently don't touch the underside of those baffles. Chuck in a couple of fire starters. Then when I come back tomorrow, I could just torch them and get going. Shut that down for tonight. And I'll also take the S1 off, take that inside and charge it. So we're gonna let that brisket cook away in the Kamado for the next couple of hours. And I'm cooking at a generally lower temperature than I normally would. I normally start off my briskets pretty low anyway to get maximum color and flavor. But in my limited experience of ceramics, I found that you can quite easily get a bit of a shreddy underside on your flat. That radiant heat coming from the underside, radiating off those baffles or diffuser plates, can cause the bottom of the brisket to dry out. And I'm trying to avoid that. I don't have one of those slow roller things, so I'm keeping my temperatures low to minimize any burning. And also I should point out that this isn't technically the first brisket I've cooked on a ceramic barbecue. I've done a few of those, but this is my first solo cook where I'm cooking a brisket on my own without being in the presence of someone who owns or is very familiar with cooking on ceramics. Anyway, I'm going to be monitoring the temperatures on my Chef's Temp app. Highly recommend if you've got a barbecue where you can switch out the analog thermometer, replace it with an S1. They're super convenient, and as I mentioned earlier, you can put a fan system into a Kamado, a Weber Smoky Mountain, pretty much any barbecue that has an air intake, and it just makes cooking a whole lot more convenient. And it means I don't have to keep going outside and checking on the temperature. Not that the Kamado is likely to drop in temperature a lot, but again, I'm not that familiar with them, so keeping an eye on it on my phone is very convenient. Again, highly recommend it. I love the Chef's Temp products. I love the Chef's Temp team. I was actually in Germany a couple of weeks ago with Chef's Temp, which was a really good time. Grill Sergeant from the US came over as well, and yeah, it was a great time. Can't thank them enough for continuing to work with me, and also for giving me a discount code that I can pass on to you guys so you can save yourself some money too. So click the link in the description, use the code on screen and save yourself some money. Moving on, when I come to taste this brisket later, I'm obviously gonna test it as is, but my favorite way to eat brisket is in a foldy. A little bit of bread, some barbecue sauce, some onions, some pickles, perfect vessel for getting brisket into my face. So I'm gonna make up an old school thin Central Texas style barbecue sauce. And I've never made one like this before either. And I basically stole this recipe from Texas Monthly. Daniel Vaughan did a recipe on old style barbecue sauce. And to start off, we're basically gonna make some infused water. So basically got some water in a pot. Should have used a much bigger pot, but here we are. And I've put in there a lemon, a whole peeled onion, then a whole bowl of garlic. And it doesn't matter so much that this is pretty much overflowing because we're going to bring this to a boil and reduce this by half. I think enough of this will evaporate before it starts boiling, and I shouldn't have this all over my stove. Anyway, I'm going to get this onto a boil. I'm going to boil that away for really however long it takes to reduce by half. Maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, something like that. So we're about 5.5 hours in, and the smoker settled in at about 240-ish. Haven't even spritzed this. It definitely looks apart. Some nice little fat render on the tip of the flat. Nothing's too crunchy, which is good. Going to take a temp check right in the middle of the brisket, about halfway up. And we're running at 160, a little bit higher than where I'd imagined it would be. Yeah, about 160 on both sides, just under. That bottom up heat is obviously causing that flat to cook a little bit quicker than it would do maybe on an offset. Gonna keep the temperature there where it is, shut it down and keep cooking. That's reduced by half. Gonna strain this out over a sieve, making sure there's something underneath the sieve so that this water doesn't go down the drain. I've definitely done that before. That's all drained out. Then we add some apple cider vinegar, some tomato paste, or tomato puree that's been thinned down, Worcestershire sauce, salt. Gonna give that a little mix, put it back onto the heat and reduce it down until it's that consistency that I like. About 7.5 hours into the cook, give that a little tip. Not too much pooling, which is good. And I'm looking for that minimum 170 internal in the coolest part of the flat. 173, I think we're good. We're gonna take this in, wrap it up. So I'm gonna be wrapping this in a foil boat style wrap. The main reason for that is I want to continue rendering this top fat. Being a bottom up cooker, there's a good chance that I might not get as much fat render on the top as I'd necessarily get on something like an offset. And I can already tell from experience that I probably left too much fat on here. This would have been a good amount of fat for an offset, probably a little bit too thick for the ceramic. So what I might do is increase the temperature on the ceramic, see if we can get a little bit of dome heat radiating downwards to help to render this fat out. This foil is gonna speed up the cook in the flat. It should be good to go in a couple of hours. I'll take it back outside and put it back on about 250 Fahrenheit. Guess it doesn't really matter which way around it is. Point was this side last time, point's at the front this time. Don't think it matters. 10.5 hours after I put this on this morning, and it is feeling perfectly tender all the way through. Particularly in the flat, that's where I'm feeling for the most, the last place to get tender. This fat cap didn't render quite as much as I'd want, but should be fine. We're definitely gonna have some thick fat cap on these point slices. Also, just ignore my dinner. I'm ready to tuck into this as soon as it is cool, so I'm gonna take it inside, leave it unwrapped, and let it rest. So after a nice long rest down to about 145 Fahrenheit, something like that, this brisket is ready to slice into. As I said, I'm ready to eat it now, so I'm not hot holding it overnight or anything like that. Slice into it and see how I did. So what I'm not gonna do is pour a load of juices over it, because I'm interested in how this comes out, kind of juiciness without all this additional rendered beef fat dripping down between the cuts. So got some nice crispy bark. How's it looking? Definitely nice and juicy, nice and glossy. Seam fat is rendered, probably not as much as I'd like. Check on the flat side. Yeah. Kind of looks like I could have wrapped it a little bit later. Still a little bit of water moisture in there, but one thing I don't love about brisket sometimes is that honeycomb shape where the fat hasn't fully rendered out. Yeah, I think there's still quite a bit of water in there. Should have wrapped it a bit later, but it's definitely going to eat well regardless. And as suspected, that fat cap on top is probably a little too thick for this style of cooking. To be honest, that's probably a little thick in general. I should have trimmed that down a little bit more. Cut some burnt ends. That is a great slice of brisket, nice point end slice, and the point muscle hasn't been cooked out entirely, which is always good. All of that fat structure still in there. Yeah, that is a great slice of brisket. Nice point end slice, just pulls apart. Really happy with the cook on that. If I'm going for any bit, it's got to be this nice barky end piece of point. See how it tastes. That is very good, perfectly seasoned. The smoke level on it is great. In terms of smoke flavor, it's got that classic low temperature smoldering wood flavor as opposed to high heat combustion flavor that you get in an offset where you're burning off most of the volatile flavor compounds. The wood chunks are obviously smoldering, very little airflow, and you can taste that. It's not a bad thing. It can be a bad thing if there's too much of it, but just those two little oak chunks on there this morning, perfect. What I would say, however, is my trim could have been better. Even if it was better, I'm not completely sure I'd have got quite the amount of top fat render as I'd like. Need to work on how to get better top-down heat in a Kamado. If anyone knows how to get better top-down heat without cooking too hot, let me know. On the flat side though, I seem to have avoided that shreddy underneath. Overall, really good. I'm gonna make up a foldy. Classic foldy with some white onions. I found these pickles in Marks & Spencer's. They're fiery pickles. A little bit on the sweet side for me, but they should do. I've got that barbecue sauce, and I also picked up some Martin's potato bread, which is perfect for a little brisket foldy. Some pickles. Oh, nice. There's actually some little jalapenos in here as well. And some of that really thin, old school style sauce. That'll do. That is a little bite of Texas. Oak smoked brisket, pickles, onions, barbecue sauce. Tell you what, this is good. Doesn't really taste like barbecue sauce as such. It's almost like just enhances the savoriness of the beef. I think that sauce would be really good as the kind of liquor that makes a chopped beef sandwich raise up a couple of levels. You almost don't even notice it, but the flavor is there. That is a great brisket all the way into the center of the point now. No rendered beef fat rubbed on that or anything. Nice and juicy. Those XM Golds are always solid. Really good brisket. Really well cooked, I think. Apart from that fat cap. Flavor's great. Seasoning's great. Yeah, overall, I think that went really well for my first solo ceramic cook. Tried to make a point of not watching loads of ceramic cooking videos before I did this because I didn't just want to unintentionally regurgitate what some other ceramic specialists have already said, and I think I could be more accurate with my temperature. I wanted to sit around 220 to 230, but ended up around 240 to 250 for most of the cook. So I'll need to look into how to dial in temperatures. But other than the fat cap trim and the extra rendering of the fat top down, I think this went pretty well. So yeah, enjoyed that process. A couple of things to learn. If you've got any tips, tricks on cooking on ceramic cookers, please let me know. I'm not sure how long I'll have this for, but I intend to play around with it whilst I do have it. Massive thank you for Chef's Temp for sponsoring this video, giving off the discount code. That S1 in the unit was so handy today. And again, not because I didn't trust the ceramic's ability to just maintain temperatures all day with almost no effort at all, but gave me that extra security and meant that I could go out and do other stuff and just glance at my phone anytime I want to check on the temperatures. So yeah, if you want to save yourself some money and get some Chef's Temp gear, then click the link below and use the discount code in the description. Big thank you to them. Massive thank you to you if you've stuck around and watched this video. I really appreciate it. It means a huge amount to me. If this is the first time you've watched this channel and you enjoyed it, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really, really does help me out. A huge thank you to my channel members for supporting me every single month. I'm really hoping to be able to do more with the membership tiers toward the end of the year when summer quietens down a little bit. Hopefully produce some separate content, all that kind of stuff, maybe some behind the scenes. I'm heading off to Texas in a couple of weeks, so I'll probably get some additional content whilst I'm there to share on the membership side. So yeah, massive thank you to you. And thank you again for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please let me know in the comments, and hopefully I'll see you again next week for another one.